Joker is directed by Todd Phillips, who gave us the Hangover films and War Dogs, which I actually think is quite underrated. And of course this film stars Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck, who over the course of the film transforms into the Joker, arguably the greatest comic book villain of all time. He's only remained in the public consciousness for about 80 years. This is an origin story in a way that comic book films have yet to explore. Warner Brothers and DC are intending for this film to launch a new label called DC Black, which is meant to offer experimental, one-off takes on characters from the DC pantheon. Joker is a serious crime drama about mental illness, dissecting how the world treats people with mental illness and what the repercussions of neglecting that illness could mean for everyone else, where such neglectful behavior could potentially lead to the rise of a character like the Joker in real life. Despite the online controversy that Joker is a film that might incite violence, it should be noted that this is a cautionary tale through and through. Absolutely nothing portrayed in the film is glorified. The violence, which affected me quite a bit, is portrayed in a realistic, raw, and deplorable manner. Each death in the film is disturbing and shocking, often lingering on the act as a means of recognizing the deplorable nature of each crime. This isn't a hard R-rated, super gory Joker movie though. There are limitations, which is fine. This is still a character that gets sold in pajamas. He isn't Rambo blowing people up. Still, this is not your Cesar Romero Joker from the 60s Batman show. This Joker is a broken, disturbed man, living in a Gotham City that favors the rich and famous, but mocks the less fortunate. Joker is a complex film. It evaluates how a character like the Joker could emerge, without ever making him outright sympathetic. Much like Alex in A Clockwork Orange, or Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver, a film which heavily influenced Joker, along with King of Comedy, Arthur Fleck is a character that is deformed and morphed by the world around him, taking the darkest possible direction by exhibiting increasingly disturbing antisocial behavior that the film recognizes is morally wrong. For comic book fans, a point of contention has been over how faithful this movie is going to be to the Joker of the comics, where a complaint has been that the movie is just using the Joker name and brand for something completely different, and I'll say that's not the case at all. Todd Phillips understands the character of the Joker quite well, where the film offers clear nods to Alan Moore's The Killing Joke and Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. Todd Phillips understands that the Joker is an unreliable narrator, where what's being portrayed for us isn't necessarily the truth. The Joker's origin being multiple choice, as he states in The Killing Joke, has always been my preferred interpretation of the character. I always found the origin of falling into a vat of chemicals a bit goofy and outdated. There are multiple times in Joker where the perspective of the film twists and shifts as Arthur's state of mind warps and bends. Relationships with characters and certain events are all questioned in the film, and this is what makes the film fascinating, as Todd Phillips subverts and experiments with expectations. And as someone who's seen and read plenty of different interpretations of the Joker over the years, I found this approach refreshing. Joker takes the realistic angle that Christopher Nolan and Heath Ledger envisioned for the character in The Dark Knight, and makes a very relevant and personal character study that attempts to analyze how these disturbed characters come about. Heath Ledger's interpretation of the character is still my favorite even after seeing this, but I think Joaquin Phoenix's interpretation might be the most important. I wholeheartedly respect and appreciate the physical and mental lengths that Joaquin Phoenix went to portray this character. Make no mistake, this is Joaquin Phoenix's film. He completely dissolves into the character of Arthur Fleck, to the point where it becomes so incredibly unnerving at times watching him enact all these atrocities and displaying certain offbeat tics, like his pathological laughing. Phoenix never goes over the top, which you might expect of a character like the Joker. His performance remains grounded and tragic, enforcing a restrained suffering that unravels in increasingly disturbing acts. Scenes where the Joker dances around Gotham in slow motion are juxtaposed with the character dancing in real time, further emphasizing how much of the film takes place in the character's head. The movie features small interactions with the Wayne family that certainly helps drive the journey of this interpretation of the Joker. Thomas Wayne in particular has an integral role in the film, where we see the character act as an allegory for corrupt politicians and moguls, rather than the symbol of wisdom that we've seen in past interpretations. There are certain scenes involving the Waynes that I honestly thought could have been cut or trimmed, but I understand why they're there. Despite this though, the movie really is about Arthur and his downfall. This is very much a standalone experience, even with the Waynes having a presence. The Waynes could have had completely different names, and their roles still would have worked just fine. This is a movie that is and should only have been standalone. This is not a movie intended to cross over with the larger DC universe, and once you see the film I think you'll understand why. This is not a character that mixes with the popcorn spectacle of the DCEU at all. Even though Joker is likely going to make a boatload of money, I am hoping this stays standalone. The story is far more powerful, without a sequel that could potentially taint what's here. Robert De Niro's role as a talk show host is pitch perfect, where the character's cheesy persona and false sense of perfection shine throughout the film. Sure, you could have had someone else in the role, but De Niro pulls off the character so effortlessly. And when it comes to how this character influences and affects Arthur Fleck's life, you can see why De Niro was picked. These performances performances and themes wouldn't work if Todd Phillips didn't have a handle on the material, and thankfully he directs the movie with such a raw authority. Lawrence Sher's haunting shots of Gotham, or Joaquin Phoenix's frail composure, coupled with Hilda Gontatur's moody score, offers an entrancing pace that eases you into the film before the third act hits you like a truck. Every scene feels like this methodical time bomb waiting to go off, and when that bomb does go off, it confidently leaves its mark. Joker is an uncomfortable watch for the right reasons. There are scenes that will be downright upsetting for some people, but everything portrayed is used to caution the world against characters like the Joker. This doesn't mean offering sympathy for the character, rather understanding the signs and negative influences that could potentially affect the wrong people. Offering beneficial services and people willing to listen about mental health could make the difference between someone rising up against oppressors through criminal means and someone coming to terms and working through their health problems. Joker is a film that is going to be discussed and dissected for many years, and unlike the dozens of serial killer dramas and documentaries on Netflix that entertain that disturbing lifestyle, Joker actually offers caution about the type of taboo that is frequently obsessed over. In an era where films are easily disposed of for the next piece of digestible entertainment, it's refreshing to have such an excellently crafted film that challenges us to discuss its contents. Joker will be a divisive film, there's no doubt about that, but I'm glad we live in a world where the film exists. Joker gets a 9.5 out of 10 from me and a Mono's Choice Award. Guys, I hope you like this review. If you want to see more reviews just like this one, stay right here for your Mono Fix. Bye guys.